Hi, welcome to Buzz, Indiana's Underground Business Voice. My name is Tony Selzo. We're here at the Bob, the big old barn with Jennifer Foster and Foster Results. Probably one of the best Rainmaker success stories we got going. I mean, really. I remember when you started your business. How long ago was this?
4.5 years.
4.5 years ago. I remember interviewing 3 years before you did with Tim Duggar. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And I was looking for a position, and then you came through the pipe. He was telling me about you, and then you just decided to go off and start this firm called Foster Results. And talk to us about what Foster Results does.
Foster Results takes the stress and frustration out of day-to-day bookkeeping for small businesses and individuals. And
really executed to probably the best degree ever. What the value of picking a niche with what you've been doing with how you've grown your business. Talk to me about what does your ideal client look like?
Our ideal client currently is a small business with less than 25 employees that provides a service. About 50% of our business is nonprofit.
Okay.
40% of it just those small businesses, and then we actually, as we've developed and grown, we're doing about 10% of our business in personal bookkeeping and elder care.
Okay.
So we're paying their bills and making sure that no one's ripping them off, kind of stuff. So.
And so you've been through that whole evolution of starting your own business, which I always talk about. It's like you start off and you're working for a crazy person, right? They keep awful hours and they pay like crap, right? I mean,
they don't pay at all, really.
Yeah, they don't pay at all. Then you figure out how to do that. Then you got to go hire people, and boy, is that a whole stress ball, right?
Yeah, that's still a stress
That's
ball.
always right there with you, sister. and as you grow, it's really you go through all those levels of development that you got to go through. And I really, what I think I want to just give you a compliment and get in the can so everybody's out there to see it. It's like, in order to grow a business as fast as you have, in order to and do what you've done, you have to be open to the personal development that you got to go through all that stuff to be able to do that. You got to be a pretty damn strong person. So I mean, there's a compliment to I testify for your character right there. So
well, thank you.
You're welcome. But what is it that you think makes you different? You know, what is it? How did that get translated to your value proposition? I mean, why are people hiring you as a service provider?
I think probably the reason it's all values, and I have a list of, when you hire an employee, these 6 things that if they do, they will immediately be fired.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of them is honesty, one of them is confidentiality of the client. But the most important one, why people, I think, continue to refer us business, is that we do what we say we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't meet a deadline, we communicate with the client ahead of time and say, hey, you know what, it's Monday, we told you we'd have this done on Wednesday. It's not going to happen, here's why, we need to stretch the deadline out to whatever day.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about communication. All people want to know is what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't want to wait until it's too late and find out.
And I think accounting or bookkeeping is one of those businesses that if you're in and you've got the curse of knowledge and you use that knowledge to talk above your client's head, like technology, where they may not understand what's going on the other end. That intimidates them, and they don't want to do business with you because there's no trust there. Right?
That's absolutely right, and probably that's what comes back to hiring the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, it's hard to find accountants who don't speak accounting, but I tell all my staff that they can't use the word debit or credit with any of the clients because they don't understand that. You have to speak English.
Yeah. So what is the type of strategic relationships we can help you find? What are you really looking for?
Our best referral sources are tax accountants, because we don't do income tax, just the bookkeeping, business consultants, and business bankers, usually lenders.
So business bankers and tax accountants. I think it's important that everybody know that most people would put you in the same box at first glance with an accountant. Yet that is actually one of your best referral sources if they focus on the tax side. And that really is one of the things that I think is important as a Rainmaker that we understand, is that you got to dig down deeper to get to know what they're really all about. Who is their initiative, or what does their marketing look like? What is their strategic initiative? How are they going to grow their business? Sometimes what appears to be a competitor can immediately be one of the best referral sources you got going, right?
You're absolutely right. And I think one of the things that I learned early on at Rainmakers, probably from you, was that your competitors can also be good sources for
Amen.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the best compliments I could get or give to Lorraine or CJ as we were growing, and it's like, hey, if you're not going to use me, here's who I use, and P.S., here's who I do use. CJ's my coach. Lorraine did my PR. She wrote my business plans. I mean, the fact that you approve your competition and you can self-select everybody else out of the game just because of that approval right there. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
One last thing to ask all the rainmakers out there. What's one thing you'd like to see them do in 2010? Putting you on the spot.
One thing I'd like to see him do in 2010, I really like the new focus on the different hubs for the different focuses.
Sure.
And what I would really like to see is a veterans rainmakers.
Veterans rainmakers. Rainmakers that focus on veterans.
No, rainmakers that have been rainmakers for 3, 4, 5 years.
Okay, cool. The old
all
school.
getting together. Old school rainmakers.
ORs. Well, I tell you what, I'm having some people over Sunday. Thank God we're not going to get this out in time. Dinner at my house at 6:30. I'm inviting a bunch of those people. We'd love to have you. It's kind of the spontaneous thing. One of the things I'd chime in on that is what I would like to see our members do is called long, slow dinners. And that is finding those people that they haven't spent a lot of time with, that they have long-term relationships, and doing a long, slow dinner with each other, a couple bottles of wine, and watch the new business come up. It's a great strategy. Keith Ferrazzi, I stole it. You should too. Be more, serve more. Jennifer, you've been buzzed.
Thank you.